YesJulz even trying to talk to me. You spent half your life on your knees, get your back blown out and sucking, guzzling semen, you whore. How dare you talk to me? You done sucked up half the industry talking about Big Ack. I don't want to hear nothing from no today, bro. Sit your ass up. Get some Listerine. When it's sucking time, we'll call you.
What's poppin', everybody? Back with another video. In this video, we got to talk about Akademiks. DJ Akademiks getting cooked by who else? YesJulz. Yeah, YesJulz cooked Akademiks. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about it. I know I've been very critical of YesJulz in the past. A W is a W, a L is a L, and she got a dub off Big Ack. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Let's get into it. So of course, everybody's talking about the new Playboi Carti album. And I feel like it's a really good album, but everybody's doing reaction videos, and you know, Akademiks had to react to the album and talk about the album. Yeah, so he went online on his Twitch stream and he said, no disrespect to Filthy, I don't know who the F Filthy is. And then YesJulz decided to insert herself and comment on that. So she kind of, you know, reposted the clip, you know, a little message. So she said, not knowing Filthy is one of Carti's main collaborators in 2025 as a journalist covering hip hop is surely one way to admit you suck at your job. Shrug. So that's what that's what YesJulz. And I know a lot of people hate YesJulz, and like I said, I've been very critical of YesJulz in the past, but this is a definite, she definitely cooked them with this because she's right. And of course, Akademiks saw that message and completely crashed out. We're gonna get to that part. We're gonna get to Akademiks crashing out, but let's just talk about how correct YesJulz is. Facts don't lie. So is Filthy one of Playboi Carti's main collaborators and producers? Yes, he's right there with Art Dealer. He's right there with Pierre Bourne. So, and if it wasn't for Filthy, you wouldn't have Whole Lotta Red, his second album. You know what I mean? So Whole Lotta Red, if we go, and this is all Googleable, so it's not even up to debate on how important Filthy is. So like, you can't really play Filthy like he's like some side character, some non-important person in Carti's career, especially his rise to stardom. So it's like, let's just go write the Wikipedia. And like I said, Whole Lotta Red is one of Playboi Carti's like best albums. Like, not only just in my opinion, just like if you look at the streaming numbers, the Billboard numbers, is a very successful album. Beyond that though, if you look at the liner notes, you can clearly see Filthy was all over this album. All over this album. How can you say, oh man, I don't know who he is? This is where we get into what makes you a hip-hop journalist, a legit hip-hop. What's the difference between a gossip blogger, a gossip streamer, and an actual hip-hop journalist? I feel like if you're going to be a hip-hop journalist, you have to know some of these things. It's almost mandatory that you know some of these things. If it's like, if you're covering Jay-Z, I'm gonna break it down and make it real simple. If you're covering Jay-Z, you got to know who Just Blaze is. You got to know who Ninth Wonder is. You know, I can even go further than that and say early on, you know, the usual suspects, man. You got to know who Pharrell is, and you might want to know who Bink is. It's like if you're following Nas, but you don't know who Large Professor is, you don't know who Salaam Remi is. I know some people would say, well, you know, it's a lot of people that don't know who produced what and all the collaborators and and I get that, but the average music listener isn't a hip-hop journalist. If you're just a fan of hip-hop, yeah, you don't have to know every person that contributed to the album. You don't have to know all these producers. But if you're a hip-hop journalist, you want to at least know the main people that contribute to the album. You know, you don't have to, if somebody's playing a violin on a track, or if somebody's playing a piano and playing a key, you might not have to know who that person is. But if this person is on almost, I say 60 to 70% of that artist's best album, you might want to kind of be like, okay, I know who that is. You know, so that's what I'm saying. YesJulz kind of cooked him on that. You know what I mean? I know it really pissed off Act because he literally crashed out. I mean, he was calling her all type of names, saying she's sucking glizzies and she's doing this and she hooked up with everybody in the industry and she doesn't have, her opinion doesn't matter, and I get the frustration. I get how he's mad because she kind of called him out, but it was valid. Like, you can't say I don't know who the hell Filthy is. So Ak responded, he completely crashed out on YesJulz, told her to eat a glizzy and told her to die, and called her a woman of the night, for lack of better words. I'm just paraphrasing. And after that, she just started toying with Ak. She just thought this was hilarious. She said, bro, about to pop a blood vessel. Her reacting to him crashing out. She said, I don't go back and forth with incels. I got something for that little cootie patootie though. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So this person said, how do you listen to Whole Lotta Red and not know who Filthy is? They were literally telling him to wake up through the whole album. So that's what this person says. Then YesJulz responded and reposted their tweet and said, he doesn't listen to music for real. He's just a gossip blogger. Sad face. She's talking about Ak. She's saying he doesn't really listen to music. And that's what I'm saying. She was cooking. And I'm like, look, as much as people hate YesJulz, and I understand, sometimes, she jumps out the window. Sometimes she says stuff. It kind of raises an eyebrow. But in this situation, she was totally right. Like, and once again, if I was Ak, I would say, look, I didn't like Whole Lotta Red. I didn't listen to Playboi Carti like that. That's what I would have said to kind of clear, whether it was true or false. That's what I would have said, just to kind of cut, like, to get out of this situation and not look like YesJulz cooked me. But it's just like, you just got cooked with this, because you're looking like a gossip blogger and not a hip-hop journalist, because you don't know the main players on these albums, the main people, the main producers. Because that just now, if this was like some mixtape that nobody heard before, I can understand. But this is one of Carti's biggest albums, so you got, the album had, you gotta look at this track list. The album had Future on it. The album had Kid Cudi on it. The album had Kanye West. This is a big album, man. This is like this. You don't have to know the mixing engineer. You don't have to know who engineered the album and mixed it, but you kind of have to know the main people that he works with beyond Pierre Bourne. Sometimes Ak drops the ball on stuff like that because I feel like he doesn't do enough research and he just comments on the main people, like the Drakes of the world. Like, I'm a huge Drake fan and I know all the producers Drake's worked with in the past. I know all the people that kind of like, I know their names because I like just follow Drake. But Drake's like a huge megastar, so that's not really saying you're like a real journalist, because this guy is like, you just can't ignore him. He's been running hip hop for the longest. He's been running every summer. He's had a huge album, huge hits. His career is right up there with like Jay-Z as far as like popularity and just running hip hop. So yeah, I mean, you could get some girl, some IG model and she's going to know everything about Drake. So that's not really saying that you're a hip hop journalist. Lesser known hip hop artists, and then who produced their album. Now we're getting into, oh, you're a hip hop expert. You know what I mean? I just feel like anybody can know every little detail about 3 biggest hip hop artists in the world. So like that's like saying I know everything about Drake, I know everything about Jay-Z, and I know everything about Kendrick Lamar. Okay, am I really a hip hop journalist? Like, you would have to know everything about Wale, J. Cole, Nas. I feel like you got to know everything. Who's Eminem's producers? Who, Outkast. I can just go on and on. Like, it's so many mega hip hop groups, and it's like, if you just know everything about Drake, that's amazing. But if you're a hip hop journalist, you have to have more variety. You have to know more. Yeah, so that's like saying I'm an NBA journalist. I follow sports. I follow the NBA, but I only know Kyrie Irving, LeBron, and Steph Curry, and maybe KD. And I don't know anything about any other players. You're really not a NBA journalist if that's all you know. Like, if you're an NBA journalist, you got to know about the rookies. You got to know about the guys that mid-tier talent, and then you got to know more superstars than just those guys. You might have to know about James Harden. You might have to know about Russell Westbrook. You might have to know about Luka. You might have to know about Jaylen Brown. You might have to know about Zion. You might have to know about LaMelo. You know what I mean? You gotta, your bag has to be diversified. You got to know about all these players if you're really an NBA journalist. That's like saying you're a WNBA journalist, but you only know Caitlin Clark, or you only know Angel Reese. Like, you got to know more players, man. You got to know more people. So that's all I'm saying. And Playboi Carti is like an artist that young people follow. So it's like this is why YesJulz kind of cooked with this, because Carti fans know who Filthy is. So if Playboi Carti's fans know who Filthy is, why doesn't the hip hop journalist know who Filthy is? You know what I mean? Like a real diehard. That's why if I was I would have said I'm not the biggest Playboi Carti fan. That's what I would have said to kind of like clear me of like not knowing who this person is, because he just admitted he didn't know who Filthy is. But if you ask any Playboi Carti fan, they're gonna be like, how could you not know who Filthy is? His name's all over the album. Whole Lot of Red. It's all over. If you listen, have you listened to the songs? You know, Gen Z loves Playboi Carti. You know what I mean? So it's like young people will be like, what is he talking about? So it's like right there, you're showing your age. And then on top of showing your age, you're also showing that you're not really tapped in to the artist that you're speaking on. You're not really well versed. It's like if I knew I'm trying to critique Drake's album, but I don't know who 40 is. And everybody knows that 40 has been like a long time producer since day one with Drake. But if I don't know who 40 is, how am I a hip hop journalist? And like I'm saying, of course, Act knows who 40 is, but I'm just saying that's because Drake's his favorite artist. So that's why I would have just said, look, I don't listen to much Playboi Carti, so that's why I didn't know who Filthy was. I didn't know who Filthy was because of that. That's what I would have said. Like I said, it's like listening to the Black Album by Jay-Z and, you know, listen to some Hov stuff and not know who Ninth Wonder is. And who's Ninth Wonder? It's like, come on, bro. Some of these artists, you just know they're producers. They're all over that, especially if their name's all over the album. All that tells me is he didn't listen to it. He doesn't listen to that stuff. Akademiks just knew that this is a highly anticipated album and he knew everybody was going to be commenting and talking about it. So he's like, okay, let me turn on my mic and get these views and get these clicks and get this money and talk about this album. But I don't really listen to Playboi Carti. You know what I mean? Because like I could tell you every producer that ever collaborated with Kanye West, because I'm just such a big Kanye West fan. I've been a Kanye West fan since I was a kid. So it's like that's my favorite artist. You know what I mean? Kanye, Nas, Jay-Z, Drake, all of them. But the whole thing is like I can tell you all the producers. I don't have to look at the liner notes. I don't have to go to Wikipedia. I can tell you who produced this. I can tell you who he collabed with. You can't be a hip hop journalist. You have to just say, hey, I'm a gossip blogger. Because once you say you're a hip hop journalist, even if we go underground and go like Mos Def, Tablin Kweli, you know, like the backpack raps, we still know like Common and stuff. Like, okay, when Common was dropping a bunch of albums and he was like underground, everybody know, okay, Jay Dilla did this beat. Okay, this Kareem did this beat. Q-Tip did this beat. You know, like you knew the artists, you knew the producers because you were such a fan of the artists. You know, he only really keeps up with the big artists that are really genuinely his favorite artists, you know, like Drake and stuff, you know. And like I said, like I'm a huge Drake fan too, but it's like everything across the board, you know, like I listen to whatever Alchemist produced. I listen to Tyler the Creator. So it's like I'm looking at the liner notes. I want to know you guys' opinion on this. Like I want to know, I need you guys in my comments, all the comments about this. I want to know, do you guys actually think that Act cooked YesJulz by calling her like a SW worker? Or do you think YesJulz cooked Act by exposing the fact that he didn't know who Filthy was? Therefore, he obviously didn't follow whole lot of Red. Like he doesn't really, you know, even if he's heard that album, he didn't really do a deep dive or pay attention to the music, because like you can't listen to that album and not know who Filthy is. So I'm just gonna say maybe he didn't hear the album, but that's one of his biggest albums. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like YesJulz kind of opened a can of worms with like where Ack is just like kind of appalled, like, dang, she got me. So I think that's why he was so upset, because it was like nothing you could really say. Like real Playboi Carti fans know who Filthy is. So it's like, so let me know in the comments what you think, and I will see you on the next one. I'm out.